Alright, man. This is a video that I am actually very excited to film. Very excited to film. So, a few months ago, now actually it's been maybe almost a year and a half. It's been a while. It's like 18 months ago. I'm sitting here scrolling through YouTube, and a video pops up, and instantly I was like, this is the video for me. The video was titled Becoming Hard to Kill. Very, very similar to this video I'm posting here. I go, whoa. It was literally like an aha moment for me. My whole life, for these past like 4 or so years now, I've been training, I've been working out, I've done sports my whole life, all of this. And I never really knew what the purpose was of me doing this, right? I've been doing all of these things, but I didn't know why. Yeah, I wanted to look good, I wanted to impress people, but I didn't know why I was doing it. Then I see this video, Becoming Hard to Kill, and it all just clicked for me. The reason I want to put on size, I want to get good at all of this stuff, is because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a man that was hard to kill. A very strong man, a well-diverse man, flexible, someone what, if war broke out, mentally strong, I could defend myself, I could defend the people around me, everything like that. That's exactly why I was doing everything that I was doing up until that point. So I was ecstatic when I saw this video. I go, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to watch this. I click on it, literally ecstatic. I have notes ready to be taken, like I'm ready to study this thing. It's one of those stupid AI generated, like where they hire someone to narrate over the video and there's just pictures. It didn't teach me a single thing. It just talked about this Navy SEAL or something who was hard to kill. It literally was just the biggest clickbait of my life. And I go, like, what is happening, right? I'm sitting here ready to become hard to kill. And this video just fully clickbaits me. Anyways, enough of that. But that kind of set me on a quest. Sure, that video may have been clickbait, but it still was an aha moment for me. And almost gave me purpose. Saying this is the reason I've been training. I've never been able to articulate it. I've never been able to put it into words or even in my own thoughts. But this is why I've been doing all of these things. So I started doing some research. I started watching videos on guns. I started watching fighting stuff, everything like that. Started becoming well diverse. I started training some muscles people don't train. I started doing a lot of stretching, things like this. I started pushing myself mentally, all of this stuff. It sent me on a wild goose chase. And I've been doing this stuff for the past year. And it's just the beginning. I've been doing fight training, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. I've been weight training. I've been doing flexibility training, mental training. Literally everything you can think of. Different types of training. I've been walking up hills with weights to test my mental strength, my grip strength. So much stuff that the average gym goer wouldn't do. Because there's always this big stereotype like, oh yeah, muscles can't fight, all this stuff. And I was always terrified to be that person. I was terrified to be the bodybuilder who couldn't touch my back because my shoulders and chest was too big. I was literally always scared of it. I used to look up athletic build workout routines, thinking that's what I was looking for, an athletic build. That wasn't it. I was looking to become hard to kill this entire time. So I've started doing gun training, I've started shooting, I've started all of this stuff. Stuff that, if it came down to it, at the end of the day, what is the thing that would protect me and the ones around me? How can I become more confident in myself in every form of combat? And that's what I go after. So, I'm not going to be one of these stupid storytellers like we talked about. The same thing that's happened to me is going to happen to you now. I'm going to break down exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis to become hard to kill, and how you yourself can be hard to kill, and some of the characteristics of someone who is hard to kill. So, what does it mean to become hard to kill? Well, I'd say that's pretty obvious. If you and one other person were trapped in a room, who would come out? Genuinely, let me ask you right now. If you and one other person were trapped in a room together, who would come out? Let's say me and you, for example. Who do you think would come out? Let's say you and your best friend. You and your girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. You and your mom walking down the street and a random dude comes up and starts harassing your mom. Who's coming out? Chances are, unless you've done any form of training in your entire life, you're not going to come out alive. I hate to say it, but you're not. A lot of people, they've done sports growing up, they've done this, that. I did football, I thought I was all that. When you step into a gym for the first time, with actual trained fighters, you realize just how helpless you are against them. When someone has any form of training, you are completely helpless against them. And I'm not saying I'm this professional fighter, blah, blah, blah. I haven't been training that long. I haven't. But even with the minimal, in comparison to a lot of people, amount of training I have, I realized just how delirious I was, thinking how I was just this top dog without any training. Because it's a completely different world. Completely different world. And that's what becoming hard to kill is. Being confident that if you and another person were trapped in a room, you would come out alive. If you were walking down the street and someone slapped your girlfriend's butt, you would feel confident to do what you have to do. In every way, shape, or form, you are confident. If a zombie apocalypse broke out, you would be able to get your family out alive. You'd be able to protect your future family. If a home invader came into your house, you would have the facilities to take them out. However that will be done for you, I'm going to leave that up to your imagination. But thinking about all of these things is such an important part of becoming hard to kill. How often when you were a little kid, I don't know if I'm weird, but how often when you were a little kid did you think about a home invader breaking into your house and what you would do? I don't know if I'm really weird, but I would think about it all the time. I was in the basement, I would think about home invader coming in. I had this bow and arrow under my bed that I got for my birthday. I would sit there with the bow and arrow by my door waiting for it to open. Like, you just have to think about all this stuff constantly. Let's say you have a family. Let's say it's you, your wife, and your daughter. You live in a 2-story townhouse. You hear a window break downstairs. How are you going to protect your daughter and your wife from that intruder downstairs? What actions are you going to take during that? Are you going to have it planned out, or are you going to try to wing it in the moment when there's an invader downstairs? You don't know if they have a weapon. Your daughter's crying in the other room. The invader knows exactly where you're at. Are you going to try to figure it out on the spot there? Are you just going to go running for your daughter? You will be so much better off if you think about all of these scenarios. And it can sound like a little bit scary. Sure. But would you rather think about these things prior and have it take up a little bit of your mental capacity, or try to wing it on the spot and risk you or your loved one's lives being taken? Think about that. So what are some of the skills of someone that is hard to kill? And what are some of the things you could do to start becoming hard to kill today? I don't care how old you are. If you're 13 watching this, if you are 50 watching this, you can still become hard to kill to this day. And there are things you can do. So, first things first, like I talked about, some sort of combat training. You need to know how to fight. You need to have some sort of non-lethal attack on people for someone who is coming at you as a defense. Never, never go attack someone. If you are the person attacking another human being, especially if it's for no reason, you are weak. You are weak-minded. And I know people are like, oh no, you're blah, 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 you're this, you're a pussy, blah, blah, blah. If you're attacking another human being when it can be avoided, you are weak-minded. You are egotistical. So yes, train. But do not use your training unless you really, really have to. Unless it is the last case scenario. Okay? So go train. The ones I train is basically MMA, but I train Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. Both amazing things to learn, right? Muay Thai, it's basically all stand-up game. It's kicks, knees, elbows, punches. Jiu-Jitsu, it's ground game. Literally all ground game. Submissions. Taking control of someone's body. You can break limbs if you have to. You can choke people out if you have to. You can fully control someone with Jiu-Jitsu on the ground. So you need to be well versed in that. Sure, you could do boxing, but what are you going to do when someone takes you down? What are you going to do when someone shoots on you? You don't know what to do. You need to learn all aspects of fighting. Stand up, take down, everything. That's why if there's an MMA gym near you, fantastic, go to that. If you need to do them separately like me, that's great as well. But training, stand up and down, very, very important. Because let's say you're locked in or you're pushed in a corner somehow. You got pushed into a corner. You're not going to be able to strike very good. You're not going to be able to get a good base. You're not going to be able to, you're just not going to. If they're inside your guard, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're going to have to take them to the ground if you want to do anything. Right? So that's why it's very important to know all aspects. But you can't just only know jiu-jitsu, because then what if the person's far away from you? What are you going to do, pull guard? No, you need to know all aspects of everything, right? So, you learn fighting. And let me just say, for those of you who are like, oh, I'm a little bit nervous to go to a gym, blah, blah, blah. I totally get it. I was a little nervous to go to my first gym as well. But I promise you, it's not like you think. People are so extremely nice there, and they're not just going to beat up on you. Sure, the first few times sparring, you're going to get effed up. First few times I've sparred, I've blood all over my face, blood dripping down. But it's learning experiences. You need to know how to take a punch, and you need to know how to defend a punch. You only are going to be able to do that by sparring. You can't learn that from a heavy bag, unfortunately. It'd be great, but you just can't do it. So you learn fighting. Next, you need to get your mental in check. Like we talked about, you need to know what you're going to do in all different scenarios. Let's say you're walking down the street and a homeless person grabs your girlfriend's ankle. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if someone breaks in your house from upstairs, downstairs, a window, whatever it may be? What are you going to do if you're sitting in your car and someone knocks on your window, puts a gun up to the window? What are you going to do in all of these different situations? You're walking in the grocery store. Shooting starts going off at the front of the grocery store. What are you going to do when you're with your girlfriend? What are you going to do in all of these different scenarios? Have a clear plan in mind, because in the moment, you are not going to have the cognitive ability to think of a well thought out plan in most scenarios. Okay? So, combat training, mental. Next, lethal. Look, it's unfortunate, and some of you might not be from the US watching this video, but if you are from the US, you need to learn lethal combat. If you're not from the US watching this and you do not have access to weapons, like guns, etc., it's even more important that you learn hand-to-hand combat. But if you are from the US watching this, lethal weapon. Get a concealed carry gun. Carry a knife around with you. Whatever it is, depending on your state. Like, I live in Utah, we don't even need a concealed carry permit anymore. It's so extremely easy to get access to these weapons, But it's very important that you know how to use them correctly. It's very important you know the rules to use them. And know that these are not something that you're flaunting. You're not brandishing these weapons. It's not things to show off, blah, blah, blah. These are things that can totally change your life. You are not using these unless you truly believe that you or someone around you, life is in danger. That is the only reason you're going to use these. But it is important that you still do know how to use them. Let's say one of our previous examples, for example. You're in Walmart, and all of a sudden shooting starts going off at the front of the store while you're in the back with your girlfriend. Let's say you have a gun. What are you going to do? Are you A, going to tell your girlfriend to sit down, hide, run to the front of the store where you hear the shooting, and try to take out the active shooter? B, are you going to hunker down with your girlfriend, with your weapon, on standby, and figure out a path to get out of the store? Get your loved one out of the store. Or C, let's say you don't have a gun. Are you just going to run and hide? Now some of you might be saying, yeah, A, that's a good option. It is, and honestly I've always thought that's what I would do in this situation. Until I thought about it more. I thought, okay, so there's an active shooter. What am I going to do, or what am I going to look like running around with my pistol drawn? What if there's another person with a concealed carry gun? And they have no idea who I am. They're going to see me running around with my pistol out. They're probably going to think I'm the active shooter. Now it's two good guys fighting each other, when instead we're taking the attention off the bad guy, right? So that's why in that situation, what you actually want to do is hunker down with your girlfriend, figure out a pathway out of there. You do not want to go searching for the active shooter. Now sure, if you see them in your vicinity, they're right down the road, you see direct eyes on them, and you can see them taking people out, sure, pull your gun and shoot. Save those people's lives. But if you do not have a clear visual on them, do not go looking for one. Get out of there safely. Otherwise, you're going to be caught in the crossfire between two good guys. Right? So there's a lot of things you have to think about. And this, I literally love this kind of stuff. This is like what I'm passionate about. One of the many things. But it's something you really have to think about in every situation of your life. It's important you test out your concealed carry gun before using it. Get used to it. Go to shooting ranges. Figure out where you're going to store it safely in your home, where it's accessible if someone were to break in, how you could get to it, what pathway you would take to protect your kids, get your kids to safety. All of that. Know the laws. Mental, combat, lethal. All of it. Once you can learn all of those things, you will be more confident in yourself in all of those situations. And you are going to become hard to kill because the average person has not thought about this. They have not trained any of this. So if you're in the room with the average person, you're going to be the one coming out alive. I love this kind of stuff, dog. If you want to hear more stuff on this, if you guys have any questions, anything like that, let me know. When I do make my course, I don't know if you guys saw my first video, I talked a little bit about this course I'm making. I don't have anything to sell you right now, not a single thing. It's going to be coming out in like 8 months. It's a huge course. I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into it. I don't have anything for you right now though, but I am going to go into this in more detail inside that course. So if it drops and you guys want to learn a little bit more about this and a ton of other different areas of life, then you can check that out if you want. But really, I do not mind either way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe because I got a lot more videos coming soon. And let me know if there's any questions or other topics you want me to talk about this. I'm rooting for you.